Hello and welcome to the Literary Labyrinth podcast. Welcome on
Hey,
in.
welcome.
We're a bit crazy. We're
A little
crazy.
crazy
Okay.
today.
Yes. Welcome on in. If you are new here, welcome on in, like I just said for the fifth time. And if you're not new here and you're a returning listener, thanks for joining us once again as we dive into the Sarah J. Maas
Universe.
ACOSF series. And yeah, so my name is Leela. I'm a nerd for books. I have unrealistic standards for men. Anything fantasy is my game.
And my name is Linda. I like reading, but I don't ever get the time to do it. So, yeah, this is very good for me.
Yes, and we are two sisters, one who reads fast.
I'm one that reads slow.
Yes, and if you have been tuning in, you will know that we are now onto this book, A Court of Silver Flames. Flames, which is the last book that has been published by Sarah J. Maas in this particular series.
Yeah.
So we are almost there before she comes out with her next two books that follow on from here.
Yeah. So we're on part 3. Like, if you want to know what we've talked about before, part 1 and part 2 are on previous episodes. So catch up with this before you delve in from chapter 18 to 29 that we're focusing on today.
Well, yes. So, a little recap on the last thing that we discussed is Nesta and Elaine. Well, Elaine came to visit Nesta. Classically, she was like, whatever, get on my face.
Have you
And there
changed?
was a
Are
little
you
bit
a
of
new
hurt
person?
feelings. And Elaine had some backbone anyway. So, but it ended
Good.
with her not feeling very happy that Cassian was like, what did you say to Elaine? And she's like, oh, so you assume it was me. I had to have done something to dear Elaine. And then she just went silent and she went down the stairs. You know those beautiful stairs? She just keeps going down.
He loves those steps.
And she loves them. She loves them. And so that's where we left off. And so now we're going to start, like Linda said, on chapter 18 to 29. So we're going to stop at chapter 30, not reading that one. But yes, so without further
Don't read
ado,
chapter 30.
not yet. Not yet. But do follow us on Fable Book Club if you want to follow our reading. And please do follow us on social media. Tell your friends. But that's enough blurb for me. Let's get stuck into this book, which is the whole freaking reason we're here. All right. So chapter 18. Kick us off, Linda.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's walking down them stairs. She's still facing her demon. This is not an overnight battle. Nesta is still pissed off. She still wants a drink and she still hates everyone. So, yeah, she's walking down those stairs and she gets to step 1000. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. Like,
she's doing better. The physical training is helping.
Yeah. But then she's like, comes back upstairs after getting that way. She's getting really like tired. And who does she bump into at the top of the stairs but Cassian? And he wants it out with her. He's like, like you said, you couldn't even like, what did you say to Elaine? And she's all like, what?
Quite right. And so she basically gets, after she's reached that, she climbs back up. And what's kind of nice is I think Cassian knows maybe I was a bit too thingy with her. So she's just like, I don't feel like sparring with you. I have zero energy. Let's not do this. And he just asks her, what step did you reach this time? And she's like, 1000. And he's like, impressive. And that's kind of like, he tries to go into like what set you off. And he's like, what did Elaine say to you? He's like trying to backtrack a little bit here because he's like, okay, I kind of feel bad.
Yeah. And we know that it was her dad, his death, that she couldn't do anything about it, but she's not going to tell him any of that. She's like, nah, I'm not saying anything.
She don't want to relive it. She don't want to relive that.
Yeah.
But the one thing she does, she sort of steers the conversation in a different direction, and she talks about the priestesses from the library, and she says, why don't they sign up for training?
Yeah, trying to put it in a different direction. And he's just like, is that what you're upset about? But you know that's not what you're upset about. And I think he knows that too. But he says to her, like, well, she says she doesn't want to know about everybody's special journey, like how Freya got to where she is, how like Mor got to where she was. And he's like, fine, I'll tell you my special journey.
Sit down, children. You're about to learn about Cassian's journey,
Yeah.
which actually is really sad. And
It
I do
is so
feel for
sad
him.
that he was
Like
taken.
I'm happy though well, we'll get into it. But anyway,
Yeah.
starts off. He
Yeah.
talks about himself.
He was taken away from like his mother when he was really, really young. So he came back and found out what had happened to her, and he just slaughtered every person who ever hurt his mother.
He Anakin Skywalkered that shit up. He
No.
was like,
He did let some of the old and
okay,
children go. Then
that is true. Okay, he didn't. He PG-13 Anakin Skywalker.
he didn't kill the children.
He didn't kill the children and the women.
Well, he did kill some of the women, just not the older woman.
The ones, I think he says the ones that were specifically kind of involved with it.
Yeah.
Or the ones, I don't know, had interference with
what
them.
happened.
But it's interesting because she looks at him and says, do you regret what you did? And he's like, no.
No.
And I'm like, respect Cassian, because you think they're going to do like a bit of a Reese and go, well, I suppose, and it's like, no, just be honest and cut the crap. And that's what Nesta likes about him.
Yeah. And he said he found the piece of shoes who sired him. So he doesn't even say, I found my dad. He was just like, no, I found him. He had a family and he just left her there. And yeah, I killed him. So it's like,
slay.
Oh, no, he let his brothers tear him apart and then he finished
it.
He finished
That's right.
him.
I mean, what's not a fun activity for you and your bros to do? Mess up the dude that fucked your life up.
Yeah, I mean, and he was just like, it took me 10 years to be able to face it. 10 years. So if you want to take 10 years to do what's like to whatever's eating you alive, go ahead. Take 20. And so he's just like, yeah, go for it, Nesta. Oh, Ness.
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 Listen, Ness. I kind of love this little thing. What's up, Ness? But I do like that he says, like, it's not bothered, because she says, like, I'm not like you. And he's like, that's never bothered me. And she's like, should, because she's trying to push everyone away. And then he's obviously like, even up to special resand. And he's like, I told you, don't take us now. Because I guess it's like, it's your bro, right? And he's a high lord, so it's a bit of a dick thing. And he's like, she's like, he's not my high lord, so let go. And he's like, make me.
Oh yeah,
use the training then, do it. And she's like, oh, you arrogant bastard.
And you're a haughty witch. We're evenly matched.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But then
how does it end, Leela? How does it end?
Well, we get to the end of chapter 18. We've just started this beautiful podcast journey here. And, oh my God, it's so hot. Sorry. Nesta told herself it was a knock that smirked off his face, and she curled her fingers in the leather and hauled her mouth to his. And you're like, oh, because then Nesta's like, I know how to win. I'm going to use my feminine wiles to lure you. And then we get into chapter 19.
It gets spicy. Like, this book has all been about like, yeah, journey. Yeah, we're going to get through it. And then all of a sudden it's just like spice.
So yeah, because then chapter 19, you're like, let's continue. Whoa. Let's keep reading. And it's like Cassian's mouth pressed on his body, the stiffness of his trembling muscles. And then Nesta slants her lips thinking, I got the upper hand here because you weren't expecting that. And she like opens her eyes and she's about to like pull away. And, she like laughs. Oh my God. Unhooks his face. Yeah, she just moves away. And then he just like all of his, like, I think that's the thing that Nesta has, because she's just like, oh yeah. I think what she was thinking, I'm going to kiss him, smirk and be like, yeah, that shut you up. And then walk away. And he was like, no, I'm going to pounce on you and rip your freaking clothes off and kiss you right now. This
guy has been waiting for this, and you've just given him a hall pass.
Yeah, he's like, great, I'm going to kiss you. I cannot control my body. And she's like, the force of that kiss knocked them toward the wall, the stone slamming into his shoulders. He doesn't care. He's like, here's my lips on you, woman.
Yeah, oh my God. It gets like very spicy. Dragging heat into his wake. Oh my God. And he's kissing her like neck and all that.
Moaned.
Moaned.
Was there a growl?
Oh yeah, Cassian growled as he read that in her stare and kissed her again. Definitely
Also,
growled.
she wrapped her legs around his middle. He like hauled her by grabbing her ass and just
Oh
was
yeah.
like, "Let's do this." And you're like, "Fucking
That
hell, man.
there's other,
Damn."
so he's like kissing her neck. She's like trying to put his fingers in his back, and then she goes a bit lower into his. They're both
Oh, but
fully
she like,
clothed. They're both fully clothed.
yeah, she's like licking his neck and he's like, "Oh, yeah, do it again."
They're both fully clothed and like in a hallway. I can't believe Asriel's not gonna like just walk like in the
I
shadows. Like,
know.
no.
But it's so funny because he says this thing where she's like, oh, she's loving it. She's loving every minute of this. She's groaning, moaning, blah, blah, blah. And then he's just got a smile going, ooh, so responsive. He purred. He purred.
Oh yeah,
That's on the bingo right there.
he purred. He
He
groaned.
purred. He groaned. Growled.
Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, then she's kind of using the heel of her palm to do something. Yeah. It was quite a lot of information in this. Quite
Yeah,
stuffy
I'm
information.
sorry, but I was not against any of what happened. Any of it.
I was like,
I
oh,
thoroughly enjoyed it and I would read that again. But yeah, basically she's feeling his length through his
I
trousers.
I was reading this on the bus and I was like kind of go like, no one's behind me. Like can see
You're just
this.
like, no, I think what happens is you read like casually, don't you? And then suddenly you're like,
And then somebody had to, they got really busy and someone had to sit next to me and I'm like, no, 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 don't read this bit.
because sometimes, and I know like it's some people are, but like you can't help if someone has a book, you just go like really briefly, and if you catch a word that says he sucked on my heart, you're like, excuse.
Yeah.
I think
It was like,
that's the one thing I always remember is the time I was on the tube, and I had Lights Out, which if you don't know, Lights Out is a book by Nesta Allen, and it is a stalker romance, very erotic, and the front cover is a very distinct skull. It's got blue on it. That's it, just a skull, right? But I had it like this. I was reading it, and the girl across from me just looked at me like, and just nodded her head in like recognition of, I know what you're reading, and I just went, shit, I really need to put a cover on this now.
yeah, I feel like maybe some people might see this and go like, oh, she's halfway.
They'll be like, which bit are you at? But the other thing is, I think the book that's in the background of your shot, Linda, Game Changer, I
Oh,
guarantee you people will be like, excuse me.
I thought it was the nice episode of Heated Rivalry where it was just like, oh, romantic. Oh my god, that thing is filthy.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Anyway,
So he's getting rubbed by Nesta and he can't stop himself, but he
everything comes up
finishes.
daisies.
And she baller move, but
Baller.
also ouch. Quick off the mark.
Cruel smile walks away with Cassian.
Who comes up?
Yeah. But yeah, Cassian
I,
had to go to breakfast the
I
next
do feel
day.
bad for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because he's like, my God. He says he'd found his pleasure and Nesta hadn't. He'd
No.
even allowed such a thing to have happened. And I'm like, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You allowed that. But then also she was
She
knew what
was
she was
trying
doing.
to on, yeah, she's trying to push him and then she wants it too. She wants it. And as
As
like the next day at breakfast, Asriel knows. He just knows that something's happened.
Asriel knows everything that's going on. It's hysterical.
Yeah. He's just like, did something
Quick
happen
up
as your
the mark.
chaperone? No. You're like, oh God. But like even at like if I had to chaperone you and this is going on, like I don't think I'd want to know. Like I
No,
just
you'd be like,
stay out of it.
no, you'd just be on the other side of the door going, for God's sake.
I'm gonna go stay elsewhere for a while. Goodbye.
I'd be the total opposite though. I'd be like, oh my God, I heard noises. What the fuck happened? And you'd be like, I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about it. And I'd be like, detail.
But anyway, something else happens at this breakfast, and they have to head to the river house. Both Cassian
Yes.
and Nesta have to go to the river house. They're wanted down there, and Cassian's like, oh, because of the stuff with Elaine. And Asriel's like, what? But it's not.
I
It's
know he's
about
like, what
what they
happened?
discovered. like Reese said he needs you back. So Asriel's been going off to see what's going on with the queens.
Briallen and stuff. Yeah.
Briallen, the haggard crone. So yeah, it's to go see that. So off to the river house, the river
Off to the
estate.
river house. So basically, we're getting everybody together to discuss shit. And we find out that Asriel's obviously, yes, he's been monitoring Briallen for weeks. And he's like, the other queens look like they've fled. They've left her.
Yeah.
So she looks, it would appear that Briallen is solo because she's like, I don't need those human queens, whatever. Baron, who is Eris's father, the High Lord of the Autumn Court, is going, I want to be in cahoots with you lot.
Because he wants to extend land.
Yeah, he wants more land, and he's also just a douchebag. Anyway, and Briallen wants to find the cauldron because she's hopefully going to be beautiful again. That's what she wants.
She wants a second chance at like beauty and youth.
But we also find out that the bone carver's bro, Koschei, is with her. But I think he's trying to do like because he's stuck on the lake. He can't leave that area. He's kind of using her as a way of saying, I'll give you what you want as long as I get the F off this lake. And I think that's what's the kind of deal that's been summed up. And so this is the conversation that's going on. But then, reference to the front cover, girl.
The mask.
Because they talk about the Dread Trove.
Oh, yes. They said like that. Oh, but there's a couple of things before that. Because,
oh, yeah?
Yeah. They're like, Freya comes in and she's still shielded and we all know that she's pregnant. But they're like, oh, you're still shielding here? Really? And I'm like, oh, God. Like this. And we see them, and they keep talking about the blood right in this special mountain. So I feel like because Freya's drawn it. So I feel like there's something, or there's going to be a story there, like Cassian says, like something happened to me or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It does get mentioned again.
So I feel like that's something that's happening again. But yeah, like you say, they talk about the dead trove, and not for her sake, but for his own end. That's the only thing that will free him from the lake. And we're like, what the hell is the dead trove? And it's, there's a mask, the harp.
Is it the dead trove or the dread trove?
Oh, it's the dread trove. I keep seeing dead. Dread.
It's kind of the same thing. It's cool.
Dread
trove. So she says, what is it? And then Amron says, Reese says, there's a mask.
Yeah, that, obviously.
Front of the cover, there's a mask design that we didn't know what it was. We now know. The harp.
Yeah.
And the crown. Now, also, the mask can raise the dead.
They say the fourth has been, the fourth they keep talking about, but maybe that fourth one has been unmade. And I was like, well, why bring that up then? Why are you bringing this up? Anyway, that will come up later. But yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah.
They just say there was a fourth, but the fourth had been unmade. And I was like, what do you mean? Why are you bringing that up?
Which clearly means that Nesta, I bet you, is the fourth, because she's now the replacement of the unmade person. She's the now made person.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm guessing here. I don't know. But what we do know for absolute is the mask can raise the dead. The harp is a physical door to like other realms.
Can open any
how
door.
They were talking about the Valkyrie and the Meryl thing about that she was researching about other dimensions and worlds. That's possibly how the harp can be used. The crown can influence anyone. So like even pierce the mightiest shield. So if she wears the crown, she can like gain control over you like a little puppet. So very dangerous items. It's like the Deathly Hallows. Like, I don't know. It's a bit, it's giving that.
I was kind of as well as like, well, why didn't we talk about these things beforehand, like that war? But then they do come up and say that.
They do.
They say, like, the reason we didn't conveniently know about these things was because there's a glamour on them. And once you talk about them, then you realize and you want them. But if you don't bring it up, people just don't figure it out.
You just forget about it.
You just forget about it. That's how they hide.
It doesn't want you to remember it. But then,
But yeah, so the trove was made by the cauldron. So the trove can find the cauldron. But Briallen was made by the cauldron, but she can't find the cauldron because the cauldron's cursed her. and was like,
Yeah.
F off.
Cauldron's
After
like,
Nesta, F off. Yeah, I don't want you to find me.
I
But
don't want to deal with you.
so the Trove can find the cauldron, and Nesta and Elaine can find it. But so Briellen's like, well, I'm not going to have any point with them two, so I'm going to find this Trove. So that's what
True.
she's doing, to find the cauldron.
So now we have a mission. Here we are in the book. Mission
Yes.
statement for how this is going to go. Okay. And probably we'll have 0 answers as well at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's what these other books are for. I don't know. So anyway, they're talking about that, and we obviously, like you just said, we forgot about it because we weren't thinking about it, but now that we're thinking about it, we're now talking about it. And they keep saying constantly, like calls to
Oh
like.
my God, how many times did they say that? It's like calls to like calls to like. And I was like, shut up. Okay, we get it.
Do you know
Like,
what?
say it once.
There's a funny note here somebody wrote that I want to share it at this point, because I saw, oh yeah, like calls to that. They said, this will be said 7 million times by the end of this book. And I'm like
Oh my
killing
God,
myself laughing.
I
Like
get it.
calls to like.
She
Like
was
calls to
made by the
like.
cauldron. She's got a link to things made in the cauldron. Got it.
Just get you a t-shirt like calls to like,
calls
just in
to
case you
like.
didn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so they don't know the full scope of the Trove's powers, but it's about but it can free Koshi, and they say that he's a Death Lord, which means he is literally deathless and nothing can kill him, like Lanariths, who we briefly spoke about, who he
That's
trapped
right,
him.
with Cassian. Yeah, he trapped him.
So all these people have to they can't kill them, they just stick them in a prison because they're Death Lords, and I'm like, right, okay. So
I thought the Weaver and the Bone Carver were.
yeah, so did I. I thought they were Death Lords. So I get that maybe Nesta, because the Cauldron had that big shot of power, and that killed the Bone Carver. So I'm guessing, okay, I can believe that.
Yeah.
I can't believe the whole thing with the Weaver getting her net, the king snapping her net and putting it down. That doesn't make sense for me. That would not have killed her.
I mean, she would basically have to stitch herself back together, because I imagine she's been mauled to pieces. You know what I mean? But she'd still be alive.
But she'd be still alive, yeah. So, but yeah.
I'm sure time will tell.
There are questions here that maybe don't make sense. So,
continue.
Yeah. But anyway, yes. So they're all like, oh, how are we going to find these Troves? And they say, maybe Nesta, you could help. And then she's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And then Elaine turns around and says, use me. And she just slips in.
Why is it when you think of Elaine, the response of her voice is, I shall do it. I will help you. It's like, I'm an angel. Shut it.
I don't not do anything wrong. I'm so innocent. I just have a garden.
I just need to tend to my garden.
Well, no, everybody forgets about her as well. She wasn't even invited to this meeting.
Oh yeah, Elaine.
No one thinks of Elaine. No one does.
What's she doing? I don't know. But Nesta obviously does, and she's going, okay, right. I don't want Elaine, because I'm scared that what's gonna happen is a similar situation to her getting kidnapped and the whole shit, and I don't want that, and so I have fear from that, but I can't always vocalize that or seem. So she just eventually, in the bunch of conversation happens, but she says, I'll do it, like whatever, like because they mentioned about the scrying. But she's a bit concerned about doing the scrying, because last time she did it, the cauldron saw her with its weird funky eye that isn't there but is there, and said, oh girl, I see you, I got kidnapped your sister, and then that
I'm gonna get revenge. Yeah.
So now she's like, oh, I don't want that happening again. So she's like a massive fear for that. So they're well, let's just see how we go. Let's just see how we go.
And Elaine's like, well, it's not your choice. I can do it if I want to. She's like, no, don't do that. And she's like, there's some stuff at the bottom here where she's like, yeah, do you not remember what happened when we started to get involved with the cauldron? It kidnapped you and all this kind of stuff. She goes, yeah, I do. And I remember Freya rescuing me.
Bitch comment, 100%. I just was like, that was harsh. When she said that, I was like, Elaine, that was a bit much.
Yeah, and then she goes, look who decided to grow claws after all. Maybe you'll become more interesting, Elaine.
And they're all just watching like,
Yeah. So yeah, she walks off and she's like, Lane's just like, yeah, find me when you want to begin, like leaving Nesta to deal with it. And she's like, and then Freya kind of, no, sorry, Nesta kind of goes, oh, I don't want to do it. Why can't you do it, Freya? And then here we go. I can't risk it because I'm pregnant. What a surprise. Finally, what we all
When she said
knew.
that, I went, oh, really?
But everybody there was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I was just like, are you guys serious? Like,
But it's kind of funny because later in discussion, there's a point where Reese was like, we figured you'd kind of get it by this point. And you're like, yeah, guys,
yeah, I
get
get
it. We
Yeah.
all got it. Yeah.
We all got it. Like, that's why you wanted a big shield. And it's like, everyone got it, but you guys.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But it is funny that she's like, yeah, we need someone to find the dread trove. And Elaine's like, yeah, it's going to be me, blah, blah, blah. But sorry, we sort of leaped into, that's between chapters 20 and chapter 21. So
Yeah.
21 is where Nesta's like, no, no. And then there's the whole claw thing with Elaine and Nesta being like, ooh, look who caught claws.
Yeah.
And then Farah goes to speak to Nesta, doesn't she?
Oh, yes. I haven't got to that bit. I just remember that. So yeah, is this about the end where like they go off talking and she comes and meets her up and says, "Let me walk you to the door," and she says, "It's
No
a
need.
boy." Like, but she's only
Yeah.
2 months. She's only 2 months along, but she knows it's a boy. And she said she wanted Nesta to know first because Elaine knew first that she was pregnant because she guessed. Actually, good on Elaine that she guessed.
Yeah. I will say there's another comment I read on somebody saying the whole thing about she can't risk it because she's pregnant, and someone went, surprise face, sparkle surprise. Like it was so obvious.
So obvious. It was so
Pikachu!
obvious.
Oh!
Yeah. There is a bit where as well, like when they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to be uncles," and then someone says, "Oh, Nesta, you'll be an aunt," and then Cassie just goes, "God help this child, indeed." And I was like, the only person that could get away with that comment is Cassian.
It's Cassian. Yeah, he's like, dear God, dear God.
Help this child.
Also, can I just say Amron's a bitch?
Oh, Amran is very cold. Like, I haven't brought up very much, but yeah, she's just to the point, and she's like, "No, you're doing this. You've got a week to figure out how to scry," and that was it.
Yeah, because like calls to like. You were made by the cauldron. You may track the objects made by her. And she's like, you will do it, girl. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, like really, like this is it. You're doing it, and she's like, "You can't force me." Like, I don't understand. So yeah, Nesta's just like very to the point. Sorry, not Nesta. Amran's very to like.
Amron.
I don't know if it's
But
because
it's
she's
so
like bitter
funny.
'cause she's lost her powers, but she just seems a lot colder.
Yeah, she's definitely a lot colder. And I think there's a point where I can only imagine Varian being like,
Remember about being nice.
And she's like, what? I am. And you're like, God, she's very fucking bitch.
I mean, this is not nice either, but still. Like,
But it's interesting because there's a point in the pregnancy that we know that she says, so you can't do magic while you're pregnant. And Farah's like, I can, but given my unusual set of gifts, I'm not sure how it will impact the baby. Winnowing is fine, but some other powers, when we're still so early in the pregnancy, could strain on my body. So it's a pain in the ass, but yeah. So we kind of get that she's not
yeah.
able to use her powers because baby, pregnancy, la la la.
Wow.
And it's interesting because Nesta's like, well, I guess I have to look for this dread trove. I don't really have a choice. You're kind of thrusting this on me. And then Reese is like, you do have a choice. It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
but she's like, after I think Nesta finds out that her sister is pregnant, she's like, of course, I'll look for the dread trove. And then it kind of finishes there. And they have that moment, like you say, Farah speaks to Nesta and Cassian and Reese and the others are like, yeah, dude got her pregnant. What's up?
Yeah. So yeah, chapter
And then
22 goes straight into like the boys' conversation in Risan's office.
But the one thing I will say just before we move on is, because obviously she tells Nesta, I wanted you to be the first to know it's a boy. And she's like,
Yeah.
why don't you tell Elaine? And she's like, well, Elaine already guessed I was pregnant. So
Yeah,
I
and
was
I was
like, yeah,
evil.
Elaine, thank God. Right. Somebody did.
Somebody
Anyway,
did, you know.
so like you say, chapter 22, we're going from Cassian and his point of view.
Yeah, so they're just chatting about if Nesta can actually do this. And Cassian is actually being really good to defend her. And he's just like, you need to let Nesta try, hit her way first. If we go in there, like, let her exhaust her other options before she realizes that this one is the only one that's visible. Like, you can't just keep forcing her like Amron's doing. And I kind of liked Cassian for that. He's just like, look, just give her time, let her do it. She will do it.
She
But
needs
you
to
just, yeah.
figure this out on her own. You can't just like thrust upon this crap to her. So yeah, I completely
She's
agree with you.
scared. Yeah, she's scared. She doesn't want
Yeah.
to do it. She doesn't want to hurt anybody. So yeah, that's it. And
But ultimately, people are aggressive on the front, and actually, what's going on inside is the complete polar opposite. So, and he knows that, which is great.
yeah, and yeah. So that's kind of happened. There is a little brief bit as well where Asriel, because the whole thing with him and Moore, and Cassian just remarks that, oh, after 500 years, he just doesn't seem interested now in talking about Moore and having that like affection, and like that's it. That we did get that tiny little bit that like
They're all moving
Asriel's
back.
ready to move on, and I'm like, what? What? Like now?
Yeah, they're all slightly different. Like we're not getting much intel on that because obviously there's some shit going on with Moore that we don't
Yeah, she's
know
going off
about.
somewhere.
And there's something Eris knows. So there's something there.
Yeah, that's
Eris
like, does he not
has in
tell you? And I'm like, what is going on here?
I don't even think it's that big of a thing. I think it's just, I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll go down that road eventually. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Asriel's not showing interest. She's actually away most of the time more now. The kind of trio is getting very separate, and Cassian is not in Moore's kind of vicinity anymore. So he's just
No,
doing this.
he's obsessed with Nestor as well. So he's just like, she's
Yeah.
everywhere else. But yeah, anyway,
Um.
so it kind of like they just kind of say congratulations to Rhysand and all this kind of stuff, and that they would protect Freya and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. But
But at the very end,
but
yeah, when he's leaving, he's just like, oh, it's like he wouldn't be able to rest until it was an even playing field. Turn a blind eye, chaperone. Oh my God. Like, and you're just like,
quick off the mark.
yeah, he's been thinking about this in his head and he's just like, no, she did that to me. I'm going to even the playing field. She's not going to know what hit her. Right. I'm off.
But what's so
And it
hot
gets spicy.
about it is he just comes in. So she's curled up on her bed in back of the house. We're back in the Encanto house, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
And she's there, and he just comes into the room, shuts the door behind him, and just leans against the door. And she's like, well, what? And he's just like, I've never seen, because she has her hair
Yeah.
down. She's got like, I'm in my night mode. And he's like, it's very beautiful. But then
Yeah.
he's like, I'm here to settle the debt between us. And you're
We
like,
have unfinished business. No.
it's too good. And
Yeah.
she's like, they're feeling lots of feelings, lots of sensations,
Oh,
lots
yes.
of sense. They know
What was
that
it?
it's getting spicy. And they're
He's
just like,
telling her a lot of things. And she's like, Nesta knew he didn't mean her mouth. Oh, yeah.
um,
It goes somewhere else.
and I'm sorry. He says, the only mistake was that I came before I could taste you.
Oh, oh, God.
And
There's a lot of graphic stuff in this next chapter, which I
but I
feel
will
like
say, yes, there is an
you just have
important
to read it. Just read
there's an
it.
important note before they, won't your friends tell you this is a mistake, says Nesta about like her and Cassian. And he just says, my friends have nothing to do with this, with what I want from you. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, yes, Cassian, that's right. That's right. Anyway, what proceeds is
About,
lots
I don't
of
know how many pages.
foreplay, him giving and she receiving, and then that's it. There's no further sex after that. That's how it is, and everybody's
Oh,
content. And then he leaves, and she's like, "My God."
yeah. And he just goes, we're even now.
Boom, mic drop.
Boom. It's in your court now, Nesta.
And that's how chapter 22 finishes until we get into chapter 26. And Cassian's like, oh my God, I'm thinking about it. I'm
Can't
just
stop
thinking
thinking
about
about it.
it.
Oh
Thinking
God.
about the
But it's
tension.
like, is it the next? Yeah, it's the next day, and he's just like, I can't think about this and stuff. And it's so funny because Asriel's there, and he's just like, Asriel knew
What's funny because he obviously had to, let us say, service himself to get through
the rest of the night.
it and then wake up in the morning and go, okay, let's try to get my head on right. And then he just goes, okay, we've got to focus training. And they are pretty good at sort of drawing the line there and going, okay, here we
Yeah.
are, we're going to talk, we're going to do training, and they get into it, and that's fine. But Asriel, yeah, is just like, Jesus fuck, right, okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, as
He's
for
just like, I
Asriel,
didn't
I
say
just
anything.
feel really bad for Asriel. Like he's like stuck in the middle here, and he's like, oh, right, I know what's going to happen. Like I know what's happening, ha ha. But now he's not. No, you're like literally baiting each other, and I have to sit in this.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And
And so
Cassian's just watching this
oh my
going,
God. Yeah. So they go to the fighting range where you're saying, and she's like saying to, because Azura is like, all trained too. And she's like, why don't you both show me you two fight? I'm like,
yeah,
oh
but it's
my
kind of
God.
funny because she starts it off like, listen, why don't you both show me how you two fight? Because I'm getting a bit sick of this, like, do this, do this. And then,
Yeah.
like, anyway, I can see how it's actually done. But then as soon as they start, she's like, oh no, this was a mistake again. This was a mistake because I'm thinking about a threesome with these guys. And
I
I'm like,
know.
Nesta!
Nesta needs to get out
Nesta,
of
you
the
are
house.
an absolute, like,
She
horn
needs
dog
to
right
get
now.
out. Like it's too much for her. But yeah, they're doing this and they're just having like their normal like fight, like kicking ass. Like he's punching his face to shreds. And then at the end, like afterwards, like Asriel lets up a cough and walks towards the water station and Cassian turns around to her and says, you're drooling.
Yeah, just like, yeah, you're drooling. And she's like, if there was anything enticing, it was seeing Azrael punch your face. And he's like, keep telling yourself, Dennis. And you're like,
I'm so glad that she's got somebody to like counter with that can give as well as receive. So you're just like,
yeah,
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 whatever.
yeah. It's great. I love it. And it's kind of cool. The fight scene's pretty cool because Cassian thinks he has the upper hand and then Azrael gets him back. And
Yeah,
anyway,
because he looks at Nesta and he's just like, yeah, that's
I'm
your
going to go for it.
downfall. That's your
And then he's like,
downfall.
nope, punches him back. But then he messes up the second time and he's like, shit. But anyway, so that chapter, we go into the next section where she is back down into the library and she's talking to Gwen, who's one of
Our
the
new friend.
priestesses that she's kind of made friends with, which is
Yeah.
nice. And she asks her about the Dread Trove.
Yeah. And does she know anything about it? And yeah, she's going to try and have a look for her, what's going on. It's
Which I
like,
think is quite
yeah.
sensible
Yeah,
because
I think
she's
that was a
doing all
good
this research. Why
yeah,
not?
yeah. And so, yeah, she's been doing that and stuff. But it does like she's having to go to the library and she's thinking very sensual thoughts as well. Like the spice in this is like next level. Like I'm like, oh right, okay, we've passed that area and now she's going to file some books. Oh no, we now have to listen to what's going on in her mind while she's filing the books
Mm-hmm.
she wants to do. And you're like, oh my God, just like talk to Gwen about the Dread Trove and sober up.
But it's
But
so funny because there's a comment, she says, Elaine would faint to hear such thoughts. And you're like, yeah, poor little Elaine. She's like, Nessa had
oh,
already had 2 males in her bed, not once, but twice. And she's
but
thinking about it again. And I'm like, all right,
damn.
Nesta, you clearly are very active.
Yeah.
No judgment, just be healthy. Be healthy here first.
Gwen does say that she'll have a look at stuff, but they don't list what's below level 7. So it's gonna be on level 7.
It's all in level 7.
It's gonna be on level
It's all
7.
down there.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, poor Gwen, it's gonna be on level 7. But yeah, she leaves the library. She's still thinking about everything, and she walks down them stairs.
The steps again. She
The
goes
steps
down.
again. She gets to 2000 though. So, she's
But
getting there.
it was also a healthy process because at the end of in the process / end of her going down the stairs, she goes, I know a way I can convince the priestesses to train. And then that's when we go into chapter 24. And it's 5 days later, and Cassian sat before the desk of the library.
Yeah.
Basically, he's been asked to
Examined.
speak with Clotho. Clotho, who's with a head priestess. She's like, I have told Nesta multiple. I mean, she doesn't talk, right? Because
No,
she just has the mystical pen. Because the poor lady,
can't
you know.
talk.
And she's just said, "Listen, she isn't getting the message. I've told her stop practicing. Stop it.
In
She
the
won't do it."
stack with the books. And he's
And
like, is she missing anybody else? No, but it's just not appropriate to be
yeah, because he's
training.
like, has she damaged anything? She's like, no, it's not appropriate. So
Not
anyway, he's
appropriate.
kind of like going, interesting. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And so he goes back downstairs, doesn't he, to find her, and she's there like stacking a book and then taking a right hook and left hook and kicking
Yeah, pew, pew,
yeah,
punching the book.
doing that. And he's kind of comes up to her and it's like, oh yeah, your right hook was perfect this morning, but not when I watched you in the stacks. So
That's
yeah.
right.
So he gives her a bit of he's not supposed to, he's supposed to deter her from doing any training, but he gives her a bit of a lesson on how
He
to
does,
do
and
your punching.
this was quite clever of Nesta, and I appreciate this because they're obviously they're in the level 5 section, and obviously Cassian, because he asked permission, can I go down and speak to Nesta? And so obviously priestesses are aware there's a male, the high lord here, so he's not a high lord, but they consider him a lord, and he's come down to speak to Nesta, and they're, what are they doing? They're doing some kind of training thing, and they witness her getting sort of pointers about her arm, but also that Cassian's very respectful. He's not touching her during the training. He's just saying, do this, do that, do that. And she goes, thanks. And he's like, so you planned this so that the other priestess would see what we
Yeah,
were
they all
doing
see.
and then go, oh, okay, actually, it's pretty cool. And maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was. And this
He's
was a
appropriate.
ploy.
He is appropriate and he doesn't touch and he
Yeah.
stays his distance and he's like nice and not like do this, do that. So yeah, crafty Archon.
And he's like very crafty, but good stuff. So that's great. And the other thing that happens is when she goes back to her room later, he's left her a book, hasn't she, to
Oh yes.
read.
The Dance of Battle, which is his favorite read.
That. And she's like, because she's like, this isn't something you would send to the house. And then she
Yeah.
realizes, oh, it's not. It has Cassian's scent all over it. The
Oh
Dance of
yeah.
Battles.
And the house replied by plumping it down a stack of romances to say, this is what I would have chosen.
Yeah, exactly. And I just went, nice, nice. That's probably me too. But anyway, we kind of, she obviously gets super into it, reading it, and
But I
it's
liked
great.
that it was nice because it showed like he doesn't want just like sexiness, sexy time.
It's
He
not
wants a
just about sex.
relationship.
Yeah.
He wants to get to know her and he wants her to know like his like about him and all that kind of stuff and what he likes and his like battle and have a similar
They're
interest. I thought that was
they're
nice.
drawn. Yeah, they're drawn to each other. I don't think it's a mated bond. Nobody has spoken about it.
Nobody's
Nobody has
spoken
said
about it.
anything about it. So I don't think it's that, because
Mm.
it just feels,
Yeah, because remember
yeah.
when Reese like well, it didn't happen to Freya, but Reese had it like a boom. Oh my God, she's my mate. Like that was it. Where
Yeah,
like it didn't happen to Freya, but she knew or something. I don't know, but it never happened to Cassian. Like nothing like that's happened. It happened to Lucian as
no.
well. Like as soon as the lane came out, he was like,
He was
boom.
like, oh. I mean, that's the thing. The first thing the guys say, she's my mate, she's my mate. And I don't think Cassian would be able to stop that if that was the case.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's not.
But
So she's reading that. She's like, and then
reading the
there's
Dance of
the
Battle.
Dance of Battles.
Yeah.
And she's now thinking about Cassian, the way he prepares for battle and stuff like that. And then couple of things happen, but she does her usual training and stuff, goes down to the library, and she's put up a signing sheet for any priestesses who would be interested to train, and it's always been empty
Yeah, nobody wants
until
to sign. There is one name in bold letters, Gwen. Her bestie.
Gwen.
Her
And so she
bestie.
knows that she has nudged her by doing that little sort of escapade. So you're
Demonstration.
like, yeah, it's going in the right direction.
Yay. Oh, that's good. I was glad that that happened and that she had a
Yeah.
fellow friend and she was trying to help. So,
Yeah.
she's really nervous as well as we get into chapter 25, that she wants to make it like
Yeah.
good for her and she wants to be welcoming and everything. And this is a side I've never seen of Nesta. Like a
But don't
kind,
you
like,
think it's what you had said, I think even in the last chapter, not last chapter, the last podcast episode from the sections that we'd read, is that Nesta wants to meet her own people.
yeah, her own
She
friends.
doesn't want to be with Farah's band of things. She wants to just have her meet people and do her own thing rather than be part of this.
It's her sister's
group.
friends. Why would you want to be her? Sorry, I know you've got your friends, like, but you're just like,
But
I've got
yeah,
my
it's
friends,
just
and I'm happy to like hang out with them. But we're never going to be besties, and you're
no,
not going to be besties in that.
no. Well, that's it. It's a completely different dynamic. So people have to make their own way. Exactly. I mean, we have very different friendships, you know?
Yeah,
It's just the same that Nesta would. So it totally makes sense. But this part of the next is it part 2, and it's called
yeah,
Blade.
Blade. So maybe it's like she gets to qualify to sword play. I don't know. We'll
So
see.
we don't know, but yeah. So we get into chapter 25.
Yeah, and Gwen's coming up to train and she's really nervous with Cassie. And Cassie's like, calm down, it's gonna be okay. She's like, I just want it to be nice and she's gonna be happy there and everything. And just Gwen comes and she is nervous, and she comes in her pale robes and she's like, no, come on, like you can like, and he's helping her to do the first thing that Nesta did, which is like ground her feet and work on her balance. And she says to her, like, oh, why did you sign up for this? And Gwen says, because I don't want to feel powerless again. And Nesta goes, me too. So I feel like they've got something in common and bonding that way. That's very nice.
It's they're trauma bonded.
Trauma bonded. Yeah, just like Freya's friends. But, like Nesta's got her own trauma bonded friends.
And I think, like, I'm starting to see a little bit of, like, difference because Farah doesn't have any girlfriends.
She's got more, but I would say, like,
don't even get me started with more. I'm not even going down there.
Like,
I don't like
it. Like, I feel like Mora is just her girlfriend. Yeah, that's it. Like, Mora's her girlfriend. Even Amryn, like, Amryn's just like, what? Why are you here?
What?
What you want? Yeah.
What? Yeah. So she's mainly around guys, whereas Nesta is obviously finding comfort in, female friends and obviously people that want to be strong and things like that. And it was interesting to sort of, Gwen's obviously in her priestess robes, and she's like, oh, then maybe these aren't appropriate. And Cassian was like, zero judgment. He's like, whatever you're comfortable wearing is what's good. She said, okay, well, I'll start with this and see. And then by the end of it, she's like sweating, but she apparently could do all the toe balancing stuff and everything, no problem, compared to Nesta. But we assume that's because she's been born Fae, so she's been doing this her whole life, whereas Nesta was human and now is Fae, so it's a little bit different. But it seems to be going well.
Yeah, it does go well.
Yeah, she's doing the training with Nesta, and it's really nice.
Yeah, and then we kind of like after the training, I don't know why Cassian, but Cassian has to go to Windhaven again, and he takes Nesta along with him.
Yes.
But so and he's just like, right, I'm gonna go and do my kind of like work. Do you want to go and hang out at the house? And she's like, no, I'm going to the shop again to see her wee friend Emery at the shop. Yeah. So
that's
she
right.
gets there,
but she gets there, doesn't she? And there's like a guy there,
and it turns out to be her cousin, and like
Dick.
He's just like really mean to her, calls her a hateful biatch. And she's like, no, the store's mine. So he's like trying to take it away from her because apparently they don't let women have businesses. They have to get they're married and all that kind of stuff.
Which is illegal. Like, it's not, she is legally allowed to have her business
Yes.
now. But the Illyrians with the old traditions don't see it that way. So her father, by death, meant that she could inherit it, whereas she has still an uncle, so her father's brother, who
Yeah, he
has
wants it.
a son, aka Bellius, who's currently in the shop telling her, "Give me the shop, you bitch," blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's a bit drunk and he's being obscene.
Yeah.
And Emery's sort of looking at Nesta a little bit thankful that somebody else has come into the shop to sort of get rid of this. And Nesta is great. She's great.
Oh yeah, she just stands up to him and didn't like just it's just like because you can see that Emery's just like leave, but like she only has so much power, and yeah, he's just like not good.
Yeah, he like spits on the floor at her and stuff. It's pretty like, what a douchebag.
Yeah, he's just like she's like, do yourself a favor and get out, or what? I don't think you want to find out that part. And he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And you seem to need an appointment with a bath. Boom.
With a bath, boom, like that. And she's just like, yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
like Emery's just like, thanks. Like he's just like an idiot. And she's like, I know the type. And then we sort of go back, like she has a flashback to her mother's mother, like her grandma, who was like evil. Yeah. And she said Nesta had been 7 when the stern-faced dame had insisted on being called grandmama and had beaten her palms raw with a ruler of mistet for dancing lessons. And she was like, she didn't care. She ignored Elaine, and she didn't even know that Freya existed. It was just like on Nesta, and she just was like, no, I'm like, and she was just really mean to her, and that she didn't even lay flowers on her grandmama's grave when she
Yeah, but
died.
Elaine did. Elaine's red flowers, because she's like obviously got this interpretation of what her grandma was, which just proves to me that Elaine has been completely shielded from
Yeah,
all
she,
the nastiness. And that's a combination of Nesta and Farah and her father, right? And you're just like, that's the problem, is she doesn't know the shit that Nesta had to endure. Like, and she even mentions there's one part where she says she even left me like a really nasty scar for one severe
yeah,
time.
she's still
And
got a
she has,
scar. Yeah,
so you're just like, she was like, no, that hateful bitch can die for all I care. I'm never gonna see her gravestone. I have zero interest in ever going. And I'm like, completely fair. But you learn that that's another interesting tidbit about Nesta. Like, here's all this stuff. It's coming out. So she kind of, with Emery obviously relating that he's here to sort of say, nudge, 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 stop being a douchebag, give us your business. And she's like, nope. And she says, will they come back? And she says, well, no, not for a while, because it's quite a big trek, but I'll probably receive another nudge at some point.
yeah,
But it's really horrible. She has to endure that, poor lady. And she also had her
yeah,
wings clipped. It's like, she's been through
yeah.
enough.
It's awful, but yeah, they've been through. She's been through trauma too. She's gone to the shop with Emery. They've had a bit of a chat, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to have some lunch with me? I've got some soup or something." So they're having a nice lunch. And Emery says, it's very nice to meet another female who is not obsessed with marriage and baby making. So that's very nice.
That is nice, yes. And she even says to her, yeah, she's, the fact that Nesta's gone, yes, I would like to have lunch with you, is like a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, that's nice because like actually it turns out that Emery's mostly alone. Like she basically runs
Yeah.
and then she just eats by herself and reads by herself and then goes to bed and then that's it.
It sounds like she's just kind of shunned from Illyrian society. So she's just
Yeah.
kind of like, listen, if this is how I have to deal with life, I will deal with it. And so she's like, cool, nobody to deal with me. And she's like, me too. And
But,
she talks a little bit about spices and
oh
that they're
yeah.
quite hard. She grows everything herself.
Yeah, but
And she
she
talks
still
about
helps
her,
her.
but this is the first time she's actually openly spoken about her dad. Like, she says her
Yeah.
father was a merchant and he traded spices from all over the world, and I used to be able to smell them in the office. And she said about like, did you not want to travel with him? And she's sort of like, well, wasn't appropriate. And she's sort of I forget how similar human traditions are to like us, quite similar. And like the
Yeah.
sexist society, basically, and what is expected, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, I would have liked to have seen the world. And she's like, yeah, it was a half world, wasn't it? With the wall in the place. And then she talks a
Mm,
bit about like what she would have done now. And she said, yeah, I would have put up a fight now. But in the end, I'd have yielded to
yielded.
curiosity. And yeah, Nesta had written a letter after letter when they'd fallen into poverty to beg her cousin Erskine to take them. But like,
That's right, because she said, "Do you have any family left?" And she's like, "Mum's
yeah,
dead, Dad's dead, and the only other person I could count on when we were in struggle was a cousin." And they
in the mainland,
basically,
yeah,
and then she couldn't write any more letters once the post money had run out, and so she never. They ignored her basically, and
yeah,
she was just like, "Oh, I wonder what they'd say now."
yeah, they die now. And then she says about her own business, like Emery talks about her own business and how like her family's trying to take it away because they believe a woman should not own her own business. But
That's
recent
right.
obviously changed inheritance laws centuries ago.
That's good.
And then she says, "Would you ever move away?" And she's like, "Well, I've got nowhere else to go. Like, I've never been up to the mountain top over there." And yeah, so she can't because of her wings as well, which makes her quite sad.
I know, it's really sad. But I mean, Nesta does as she does. She goes for the jugular because she,
Want to make a
she
change,
sort
yeah.
of says, yeah, she wants to change and like, why don't you come and train with us? I think that would be really good. And she's like, look,
Yeah,
I don't have any way of getting there because A, she can't winnow, and B, her wings are clipped, so she can't fly. And
yeah.
she's like, well, we can organize that for you. And she's just like, I don't think like people would be interested in my shop if they found out I was training and I'm already a shun.
Um,
She's like, oh, I didn't take you for a coward. And you're like,
yeah, and she's just
ugh. But at the
yeah,
same time, yeah.
I know she's trying to get a reaction out of her so that she'll come, but yeah, maybe that was a bit harsh, but she's just like, "Said word if you wanna join us." And like, that's it, and just I was like, "Oh, Nesta, maybe you just kind of calmly do that. Just leave it
Yeah.
open." But yeah, that's not Nesta's way. That's not Nesta's way.
No, she struggles. She struggles with that. But she's learning. She's learning.
She's just learning. But yeah, then
Yeah.
I
So we
remembered now Cassian is though actually in Windhaven to meet Eris. Why is he there? Like, why? Why is
Well,
he
he's
involved
doing
in this?
this thing because Reese wants him to be in cahoots, and he's like a spy for him because he wants to get his Baron, his dad, kicked off. And he's telling him about the dread trove.
So
I've
yeah,
heard of such things, though, which does not surprise me. And he's like, "Does your father know about them?" And he's just like,
don't think so. No. So
"Don't
she's
think so."
Briellen has failed to inform Beren about the quest. He just wants land, and yeah, so that's what's going on. And he's just like, "Can you find some information?" And
Yes.
that was about it. So it's just a very small chat, isn't it? Just about what's going on. But he does say like, is this why Morgan is back in Valhalla to learn about the trove? Like he keeps bringing this up like more. Like why is he trying to get to know more? Like why?
I think he's also trying to get a rise. And he's like, here I was thinking Morgan was going there so often to hide from me. And then he's like angry because Cassian knows of the entire
Yeah.
turmoil and shit that he's been with her day by day going through this 500 year or 300 years, whenever the hell it was. And he's like, don't flatter yourself, it's only a coincidence. And he's like, why shouldn't I flatter myself with such thoughts? You flatter yourself thinking you're more than a mongrel bastard. So like Eris is a total dick.
Yeah, he is a dick. He is a dick. Yeah.
And he's like, you've given me a great deal to consider. But like Cassian doesn't care. Like he's like, whatever, I've gave you the information.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's
all
just
I'm
like, just
supposed
keep
to
it
do, Animal.
quiet. And then Eris does this kind of like wink, and then he winnows away, and Cassian is just pissed off with Eris. He gets
Yeah.
under his skin. He doesn't like it. He hates him, but there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not very happy with that when they come back in chapter 26. Um,
That's it.
yeah. So he wasn't so like I think this is from Nesta's um opinion. So like they'd come back and Cassian had been upset. Nesta didn't feel like
Mhm.
eating. Like in her room, and he was just at the dining room, and he's just not very happy, and it's just a bit like distant. She doesn't know
Yeah,
why.
and she's quite concerned for him because he's very much just staring into the space and he's not there. So he's answering her when she like, "Oh, hello, what you doing?"
Oh,
But he's not there.
oh,
She's
distant.
kind of annoyed because she's not annoyed with him, but she's like, "Who
What the
put
hell
this on
happened?
his face? What
Yeah,
has happened? Like this, why should he feel like this? I don't want him to look sad. This is crappy." And he's just talking about how Eris gets under his skin. He just riles him up, and I don't care if he calls me a mongrel bastard. It's just like I hate the guy. He's
yeah,
slick, and I think he's just like he doesn't know how to manipulate or try to work Eris because
yeah,
he's very much academically quite switched on, and he's very good at manipulation, but he's maybe not as physically strong as Cassian. But this is why they differ, because he knows how to get under Cassian's skin, and Cassian doesn't know how to get under his skin, so it's like
yeah.
frustration.
But yeah, you feel bad now 'cause like, oh, maybe that makes me a stupid brute after all. And you're like seeing the side of Cassian going, but you're not like this. Like you're not
Yeah,
stupid. But his things like he's made like Eris has made him think that he's stupid, and so that's what's making him feel sad. He's just like we
but
should
I
have
think he's been taught that, right? It's he that he's never been one of society. He's just the big
He's a
guy
brute.
that
Yeah,
comes in, fights people, and that's it. But that's kind of not what he is. He's wears his heart on his sleeve, and he
yeah,
knows that's a sign of weakness sometimes to your enemies because they go, "Oh, reaction, I saw you, you care for this person, boom, I'll kill you." But yeah, he says, "Well, I can't even kill Eris if I wanted to, like that would just mess everything up." So
yeah,
and Nesta's kind of impressed with him because she's thinking, "Well, he's actually considering everything. He's not just
yeah. But
going off his baser instincts. He's going, I need to think about the long-term solution here. Like this is my little tiff isn't gonna fix anything."
but yeah, she's like, oh, I can't bear to see that face on him. How can I change that face? And Nesta's like, I know. Let me distract you with some lusting
Baller frickin' move.
in the
So
dining room.
it
In the
starts off
dining room.
quite nice because he's there in the dining room and he's just like grr, and she then just goes up to him, braces her arms, like her hands on the arms of the chair, and brushes a kiss on his cheek. And then she moves to the other side and kisses him, and he stills because he's like,
What's
but
going on?
that I'm like, very good, Nesta. You're gonna get him out of his thing by like little tender kisses. No, it does not stop there. It does not stop there.
No.
But
She
I didn't
completely lost it
think
the
that she
second.
was gonna go this far yet. I thought, yeah, it'll happen, but I didn't think it was gonna happen at this moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she says she goes to the area of his genitalia under his trousers and says, "Let me help you, please." And obviously Cassian being completely like, "Uh-huh, yeah, okay, okay." And
Oh
she
my God.
takes she reveals his member, and it's a very classic to all romantasy.
No.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
the word is enormous.
Enormous. There's no way it'd fit entirely.
She's like, "There's no way he'd fit entirely in my mouth, perhaps not even fit in my body." And I'm like,
Jesus Christ, woman.
"Jeez." Anyway, so what happens from there is she
You can kind of guess.
makes him feel happy through fellatio.
There's some act that she does, and that makes him very happy, and it distracts him against Ceres, and he just thinks of Nesta and passion. And
Basically,
yeah,
she gets him off. He's having a great time. And Cassian is like, "Oh my God, I'm in love with this woman." And Nesta's a complete horn dog. And
she's
they
just
stand up. And
after
he's
it.
like,
She's after it.
she's like, "I'm going to do you right on this table. And I don't even care."
Oh yeah, she's like, oh yeah.
Asriel is like, "Ahem." And then he's
No,
like,
it makes it.
"Dude."
It makes it's like you can tell that Asriel has just kind of slipped in, seen what's been going on, gone back out again, and then made his footsteps loud.
He's like, Because like he's like, bang, bang, I'm entering the room. Stop it. I've let you finish what you were doing. And yes. But
And
the
then
other
she
thing
just
is
leaves.
they say the windows are top to bottom. So everyone outside can see straight in what's going on. It's lit up like it's illuminated, this room.
Yeah.
And anyway, so
There
we know
can't
that
be just
Asriel,
3 of them staying there. There can't just be 3 people living in this house. Like, come on. Like,
but like
oh my God.
Asriel, you could just imagine he's like winnowed outside and he's just like, for God's sake. And then he's like coming at the, he says like, for God's sake. Anyway, so he
Oh, a
essentially cock
warning
blocks them
from
from
someone who
continuing.
knew how to remain silent. Good evening. And he's like, and then she just leaves. She's just like,
That's right. She leaves. She does
good night.
she does a really good thing. She goes, good night, and heads off, and that's it. And
He says, thanks for that, and he's like, I don't know what you were talking about. And then yeah, he's like, Asper's like, don't show all your hand all at once, Kaz. What's that supposed to mean?
save
Busybody.
some for later. And he's like, you let her suck your cock in the middle of the dining room at a table I'm currently using to eat my dinner. I'd say that entitles me to an opinion. And he's like, fair enough.
Like,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
Asriel's just like,
oh God, no.
I'm just like,
Yes.
I mean, also, their Fae have like a high scent. So
Yeah, when they're saying
even
like, you
if
can
it
smell
happened
everything.
and they stop, he's walking into a room that stinks of.
Yeah, like a poor ass. Like he's having to eat his dinner there. And he's probably like, "Can I just eat in my room? I've got to go by. I
I
can't take this."
just want just to eat my dinner in peace. But no. It's so funny. I mean, hot as hell was this reading it. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this book.
He's like, "Dad."
So we get into chapter 27.
Yes, the morning after, and she's there in like her gear for training, and yeah. Anyway, Gwen says it might be an impossible task for her to find out about the dead trove because she can't find anything on it, and that there was only bones and stones crying, and Nesta still doesn't want to do that
Yeah.
to find the wind. Just out the
So
wind.
she's sort of like, no, there's no other way. I don't want to do it. She's still reluctant.
Yes, exactly. But she finds out that after training, Cassian's going to Windhaven. So she says,
Yes.
can I get something to send something with you?
Oh,
So
yeah. So she gives something to Cassian.
yes, to drop off
And
at Emery's house, or Emery's shop.
yeah. And it's spices.
Yes, to tempt her, bait her, bribe her into coming to training. But it's a nice kind thing. Like she needs spices and good tea. So
It's that kind of way where she called her a coward, but at the same time, she's like, here's some spices. I'm not a total dick. And, you know, she has said, like, I told her, like, I can. And then Cassian's like, well, listen, you know, it's just, you know, think about it. If you change your mind, let us know. And that was it.
yeah.
And, yeah. And then we kind of, that's the last we hear of it. But we then go back to Nesta, who's climbing the steps to the training ring, pondering the dread trove.
But Cassian says that he's seen a difference in her. Like when she's even with Gwen, they don't tease or laugh with each other. But there's an easiness between them that he'd never witnessed. Even when Nesta was with Elaine, she's just was like her guardian or Freya's sister. But like here, she's like her own person, like finally
Yeah,
relaxed.
there's like a
Yeah.
certain respect from both sides.
Yeah.
And I do think that is because these are new friends, so they don't know the history. Because she does
She's
say,
just
I think at
Nesta.
one point, she goes, they don't know I was this horrible person to my sisters. So this is a chance for her to start fresh. And I think that's
Yeah.
where it comes from.
Or people just know as Freya's sister or so and so's sister. Like this is just like,
Yeah.
oh right, we don't know them. Like we're just your friends. So yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
she's still like climbing the steps to the training ring, pondering the dead trove, and yeah, what she should do, and yeah, and then she goes up to the inn there, and she finally sees Emery's there in the training. She's come along. Yeah.
Yay! Oh, so it's
Good.
Gwen, Emery, and Nesta. I'm loving it. It's like a
See, I
little,
like
like,
that. Nice
girl
little
fight
team.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice little girl team. And I thought, oh, that's good. I'm glad that she's got like a little friend posse now that she can hang out with.
Yeah. But what's kind of nice is the whole way that Cassian's portrayed when he's training them isn't, oh my god, they're just, okay, yeah, they're women, but that doesn't, I don't see that. I just see them as people. And that's completely conveyed every step of the way. That he's
Yeah.
just training them as anybody. He doesn't hit on them, or he's not trying to be insensitive or anything. He's just treating them like any normal human being.
Yeah.
And it's
Keeping
really
it
nice.
professional and doesn't like criticize them and all that kind of stuff. So that's
No.
good. But also, like, when you get to chapter 28, like, they're training, but,
Yeah.
like, they're having chats. They're just like,
Oh,
"Oh," like, "You have libraries here in Ilaria?" And they're like, "Oh, do you do this?" And, just
mhm.
like, talking about things. And then she says, "What books do you read?" And Emery's like, "I read romances." And this is like, "Me too. Which ones?" It's like, yeah,
I
like,
love that. I love that they're talking about, like, "Oh, you've not read this? Oh, I'm gonna share you my book. Okay, I'll bring you it and you can read it." And I'm just like, "Yay, that's what we's about. This is so great. I love it. I love it. Yum, yum, yum."
but yeah, they were saying, like, "Have you read?" And then, "You must read our books." And he's just like, so Gwen asked, "What is smut?"
I love that about Gwen. That just shows the, like, what is
Oh,
smut? And
Gwen,
then I
come
think
to the dining
Cassian's just
room.
like,
Come to the dining room.
I know Cassian's just like, can we just, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
Enough of that. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, so they're going to do like a little book club now, and they're like, "We'll swap books later, the next lesson."
I love that. I loved it. I just thoroughly thought this is what's nice. This is what's really great.
Yeah, but then uh, Reese comes to pick up Emery to win her back to Windhaven, and he totally royally f's off, doesn't he? Like, but
Yeah,
I'm
because it's
glad,
so funny because the way it's described is he's knocking on her internal, right?
yeah,
She opens the little door. What would you want? This is all going inside their
yeah,
heads. And he's like,
yeah,
you are to treat Gwen with kindness and respect. And
yeah.
you're like, you're a freaking dick.
My
Nobody
goodness.
saw that she was not treating her with respect. And she just goes, mind your own business, and slams the door
But Captain had
into
his
her
arm like
mind,
right
and
around
just,
here. He puts his arm
and
around,
that's the thing
you
is,
know.
I'm sorry, but I loved that Cassian put his arm around Nesta. I was like, because Reese was like, "What's gonna?"
Yeah. He's just like, yeah, because Cassian knew as well that by the look on Reese's face, he'd just think the worst of Nesta. And he's just like,
Mhm.
no, no, like, I'm going to be on her side. And he just put
But
his
it's
arm around
really,
her.
but just before we talk about that, there's a really sweet moment. Once she's done that, she goes off to Emery before she's about to say, and like, and she just speaks with her. But then
Uh-huh.
she does say, "Oh, I felt a prick of guilt because I'd abandoned Gwen and she was with the two males." And I just
Yeah.
realized that she might have, I mean, she said she
Yeah.
knows she's safe
She's
with
just
them,
like,
but that's not still appropriate, and I'll make sure to note that I never do that again. And I'm like, wow, that's a really nice,
yeah, that is
healthy
like,
way to process it. It's like she respects Gwen and she's respecting Emery. And even in Emery, she says, like, you called me a coward the other day. And she's like, I spoke in anger. And she's like, no, you spoke the truth. And maybe the lesson will make me less scared. And she's like, sounds like a good reason. And they move on from it. So
yeah.
I have to say, Nesta is she's growing
But
into herself.
she's just being herself now, not having to put on a front because everybody just thinks the worst of her. So yeah. But yeah, but I was very happy as well that Cassian did give Reese a telling off because I think he earned it.
Loved
He
it.
was just like, no, no, Reese. Like,
Yeah, because he also, Reese goes, how did you know I was doing that? He's like, because I could feel Nesta tense. So I knew that was the only
yeah,
thing that, she's treated her and Emery with kindness. And he's like, that's what's pissed you off. I'm pissed off that you can't seem to believe even one
um,
good thing
but
about her, that you refuse to fucking believe one good thing about her. Was it necessary to bait her like that? And then
yeah,
Reese is now going, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. And he's like, you're not making it easy. Let her build these bonds and stay the hell out of it.
uh-huh,
And it's
yeah,
so funny because Reese is like, okay, I will. And you're like, all
yeah,
right, respect, respect.
She
Okay,
put
he's
her arm
listening.
around her shoulder to restrain her. We're like, yeah, you have a pregnant mate, Reese. You kill anyone with that threat to
Yeah,
like
you're
threat.
unhinged, Reese.
Uh-huh.
You need to calm the F down. So anyway, Reese takes Emery back, so she flies off with Reese or Winnows back, slash flying,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, but what does he say up in the sky before it goes off?
He's like, I don't know what the fuck the two of you have been doing in this house, but it reeks of sex.
Yeah.
And then he's like, a polite male never tells.
He's like, well, I told us playing a chaperone would be useless. Oh, poor.
I love it. I loved it. Anyway, so it was really, it was nice. Like, I like the
Yeah.
way the book, like, Cassian is such a great character. You just want to read more of his dynamic with not only just like Reese, Azriel, and the other stuff and him internally, but also, you know, it's not just Cassian and Nesta, which is quite nice. It's Nesta, Cassian, but then there's also this other side that Nesta's meeting friends, making new, you know, learning about
Yeah.
stuff in the library. And then there's Cassian trying to take on this new role that Reese wants him to take and approach things in a different way that he's not used to. And Eris is kind of knows that he's trying to put him down and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's great. I really, really like it. But
Yeah.
anyway, on to the last chapter,
Yeah, the
chapter
last chapter.
29.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just like the dead throw's happening. It's nighttime. She's just like going. She knows she's going to have to do some like scrying, isn't she? And she tells like Cassie, and she's like, "Look, bad things happened to me last time. The cauldron looked at me, and it took Elaine. I
Yeah.
don't for this." So she wants to do it, but she wants to do it with but she doesn't want to do it. And I think everybody goes back to the river house, and they're all like baiting her, going, "No, we need it done." And Amren's being a bit of a beep.
Amra's a total douche.
Yeah, she's just saying that like, no, she needs to do it.
It's just like, we don't have the time for Nesta to decide. I say
Yeah.
we approach Elaine tomorrow. Better to have both of them working on it. And Azriel stiffened and outright of the temper from him, and he said quietly, "There is an innate darkness to the dread trove that Elaine should not be exposed to."
Why are they shielding her? Like, I don't understand. Again, like, yeah, but it's fine for and Cassian Riley goes, "Yeah, but it's okay for Nesta to have it then." And I'm like, good. I'm glad that there's someone like in her, like, feel like on her side, because does seem like it's always like Elaine, 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 but like
Yeah, and also,
Nesta
why
can
does
deal with it.
Azriel give a toss?
Oh, because he has a nice spot for Elaine. That's
Yeah,
why.
but the
I don't
only
think it's
there's
like a
part of
romance
me
one, but I don't. I think it's just
part
like
of me thinks that's true, but the other part of me is he was the one that knew she was a seer before anybody else did.
a.
So could he be true to an extent that because she is a seer, it would do something different?
Yeah, it would stop her from seeing things because it would just horrify her or something like that. I don't know.
I
But
don't know, or maybe she's more easily manipulated because I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I have no clue. But yes, I did like that Cassian growled, but Nesta should, and
yeah.
that
But
was
Amber
it.
just goes, yeah, Nessa has a week, one more week to find the trove, or we'll do our own methods, including Elaine. Don't underestimate her. I'm just like, geez, Amran. Like,
Yeah, she's like, it's not your right to wield Elaine as a threat to manipulate Nesta into scrying. She's like, there's a harsher way to convince Nesta, boy. And you're like, Amran, you need to take a beat. You need to
yeah,
take a beat.
yeah, she did and said, oh, but yeah.
Because
And
she's
it's like,
like,
you just have to
Cassian
shut
leaned
up
back in
and
his
do as you're
chair.
told.
Sorry, say that again.
Like, so like you can see that like Cassian doesn't like it, and she just says, "You just have to shut up and do as you're told." And Reese even goes like, "Amran," and then she's just like, "What?" And he like even Barry is like, "Haven't we talked about this about being nice?" And like like she's being
But
really
what I want to know is, why is she so hell bent on this?
yeah.
What
Why
does
is
it
she so
matter to
about
her?
pushing Nesta? Like she really wants to push Nesta.
Yeah, but why is who cares if they find the dread trove? They don't. What's in it for her? She fine.
Still
Why
all
is she
fine.
pushing it?
So
I'm not sure. It's a little bit odd. I do find. But yeah, so we know that Nesta has a week. And then we move past, and it's 3 days have passed. Emery came to every lesson, and while Gwyn had mostly caught up to Nesta's progress, Emery would need more work.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Her own pace.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then she's just like, it's like I think it's trying to show that, like time's going by, she's doing her training, she's going to do her like her book things.
yes.
But like Gwen runs up to her while she's stacking books and she's just like, look, I don't know what Meryl did, but she learned that you swap the books out. You need to leave. Like Meryl's coming like to shout at you. And I was just like, what the hell? Like she's just like, was it? She's in a fury. And then this woman who's like her boss called Meryl goes, is that Gwyneth? When I'm in a fury, it's what? And she takes it out on like Nesta saying like, do you know who I am, girl? Like, you swapped my books. Do you think I'm an idiot? I am descended from Rabbit, Lord of the Western Wind. Like, to hell with like,
I love the retort from Nesta when she says that.
yeah,
It's a
she's just a
great
bit like, yeah,
retort.
it's like, I'm powerful. Who do you know? Like, who do you think you are? Yeah, I know that you slew the king of Highburn, but like, why? I don't care. And Nesta's just like, all right then. Like, I think you
'Cause
like to
she
hear yourself too much. And she
yeah,
just lets her power shimmer. It's the first time she's let her power shimmer to the and let it
mhm,
like be seen, like purpose on purpose. Like she does
yeah,
this on purpose. Like before, it's always happened, and she has no control over it. But this time, she does, and she does it to get back at at Meryl, and she's
yeah,
just like, and even Meryl's scared of her when she sees the whole like flames in her eyes and her glowing, and she's just like
yeah.
really cruel.
But I think the retort that she gives back to her, because obviously Meryl is an entitled, thinks she's the shit. She goes, with a fancy title like that, surely such a petty grudge should be beneath you. Because it's true. What is your deal, Meryl? Like, you
Yeah,
need
I
to
don't really
calm down.
know.
And she even calls her, like, get back to work, nymph. And then we find out about Gwen a little bit more, and why
Oh
she's
yeah,
called
she's
a
half
nymph.
nymph. Yeah, I didn't know that. Her grandmother was a river nymph who seduced a high male, so she's a
From the
quarter.
autumn court.
Oh, autumn court.
You
Do they
know
go
how they
sharing?
are in the bedroom.
Yeah. So she's a quarter nymph, and yeah. So then her mom and her sisters all stayed in Sangrava in the temple there, and then it's they don't really say. They just said like that's what her sister was, and they don't really. But it's obvious that they
You
might have
know some
died in
bad
it.
stuff
Yeah,
happened.
bad stuff
Yeah,
happened.
there. For sure.
Yeah, had they were twins, and yeah, now there's only Gwen.
Yeah. So, but the biggest thing is Gwen's like, oh my God, I hope I have the confidence to do what you did. And obviously, other priestess saw Meryl get like sassed back from
Yeah,
Nesta, and
put down a
and
few yeah,
it's great. And so it's good. Yeah, put down a few pegs. That's right. So it was interesting because the next bit is it would seem that priestesses didn't forget what Nesta had done because footsteps scuffed in the archway beyond
oh
the pit.
yes,
So more priestesses have come to join the training
they
to
have
be
come
like,
to join.
Nesta. I
We've
think
got
that's the thing. When
Rosalind.
you see
Yeah,
someone else stand up,
stand up, and you're
they
like, I want
go,
that.
okay, I
Yeah.
want to be like that. I want to be like that.
So we've got Rosalind, Deirdre, and Anang. Anang has come.
Anank?
To
I
you.
think it's Anank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've come to join too now. So three more. So that's really good. I mean, they're all still in their robes, but I think
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
But one of them actually takes down their hood, and it's Deidre. She has a massive, vicious scar across her face,
Yeah.
um, which we get, is just
What's happened?
horrible things happen to these poor priestesses. And it's great because she's like, we were just starting. Come on in. Like Nesta's like, yeah, let's join. Let's
Yeah.
do this
Welcome.
training session, and you're just like, this is
She's found
so
her group.
nice.
She's found her group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
the
it moves
kind of
up.
thing of people that have had bad crap happen to them, and they're like, "I don't want anyone to do that to me again. I want to get stronger." And so she's sort of willing these, like, sort of people that have come from being unable to protect themselves to now going, "I don't wanna be
Yeah.
I want to be able to stand up for myself or protect myself. So it's nice. It's nice.
I think it's nice. Yeah. So yeah, we moved from that, and then she's kind of, I think, didn't she? She saw those priestesses being brave, and she's like, then I think I need to face my fears and do the same. So she decides to do the scrying, stones and bones, but she's going to do it with Cassian by her side because she's
Yeah.
scared that something might happen again. And she's terrified of the whole scrying thing. And
And
so
it's
she's
cool
doing,
because
yeah,
she's like, "Give me the stones and bones, please." And then the house goes bloop, and he's like, "Geez, this house really does listen to you. Like, what the hell?"
yeah,
And then she just says, "The reason I want to do it, I changed my mind, is because the priestesses, they came to
yeah,
practice, and they've haven't even set foot outside for 60 years, and like, if I'm not brave enough to do this, then what the hell is the point?"
yeah.
So you
At least
kind of
I can
get.
do this.
So she goes, she attempts it, she tries to do it, but she's really struggling to focus her mind,
She's
and she's
terrified. Yeah,
squeezing.
I think she's just terrified, isn't she? She's like, she's
Yeah.
trying to find the mask, but at the same time, she's just like, oh no, something bad's going to happen. Something bad is happening. Something bad is happening. And it's not working.
Yeah, because
No.
she's got too much noise. And she's like, I can," and she just drops it, and he's like, "That's fine. Don't worry." Like, but she doesn't eat dinner. She just goes to her bed, and that's where stuff happens, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if I think this is all Nesta. Like, it's all her. Like, she's just made it so, she is so terrified that she's been shoving that power down for so much that
Too
it is just
long. It's combust.
exploded.
It's a
Yeah.
very smart way of taking the depression of suppressing your mood, not dealing with your problems, not dealing with your problems, and then as, people you either know yourself or other people, you just explode. 'Cause you
Yeah.
just
It's just like,
you flip out because you haven't been dealing with it. And so visually trying to take that and turn it into, "I have this power in me and I'm suppressing it, suppressing it. Kaboom!" And this is where we get to that she's in her nightmare, and she thinks that the darkness is opening her door, seeping through, and attacking her, and
yeah.
suffocating her, and pinning her down, and she's like, "I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die," and actually it's just in her head, but she can't she's screaming,
Yeah.
like it's tearing her
Screaming, and
apart
she's like,
again, like she's back in the cauldron, and she's like, "Ah."
yeah, it's like a night terror, so, like, she can't be woke up, but she's
Yes.
screaming, and she's just like that, and she wakes Cassian up. She's like, he wakes up, and he, like, reaches for his knife, wondering, "What the hell? Why is the air gone so cold as ice?" And then Az wakes up, and he's just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, because I
Like,
was just like, "I sense a disturbance was happening."
yeah, he can hear her screaming. They go to the room, and it's just like silver cold light, and Az is just like, "No, I think we need to get out of here." Nesta's in the
But it's
bed, and she's just
amazing
bathed
because.
in silver flames.
But Azrael is always noted as he's not scared of much. So when he reacts like this, it makes
Yeah,
you go, "This is some serious shit."
he
Because he
doesn't have a
says,
clue.
"Holy gods."
Yeah. He's just like, "Oh my god, like, what's going on?" Like, it's something that's but it burned without destroying the blankets, the room, and burned and withered as it devoured her. And yeah, he's just like, "What the hell?" Like, fire, but the fire was like ice.
Cold.
It's just like ice, and it's just
Yeah.
making the whole thing. She's screaming. He doesn't know what to do. Like, Cassian's just like, "Oh my god, like, how do I get it?" He's like, Asriel's trying to shove him back, and Reese comes in, and he's like trying to like, well, he's like,
He's trying to cloak the whole fire, like push it
he's using his
down.
like high lord power as well on her. Like,
Yeah, the one that he used in the war where there was like this black thing? He's using that and he can't even stop it. And he's like,
yeah,
"Wake up, it's a dream. Wake up."
yeah,
And he's trying to get into her head and trying to
yeah,
be like this, but obviously
doesn't
then
work.
Cassian's going to Azrael. "You need to let me go. I need to go in there." And he sort of does, and he's trying to coax like, "Nesta, listen to me. Wake
Yeah,
up." And slowly she starts to relax and come out of
yeah,
it.
she hears
Well,
his
through his
voice, and that's
voice.
relaxed, and it starts to like the flames recede and vanish, and it's finally it's Cassian's voice that gets her out of it.
Yeah.
And
It's like the
yeah,
whole room's like, and then slowly, 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 slowly comes
yeah,
back. and she just passes out. She's like gone.
Yeah, he's
Once
just
it
like, yeah,
stopped, she's just conked out. She's just passed out. That's it.
yeah, and he's like, the High Lord's hands were shaking, trembling, and Cassian doesn't know what to do. He's like, Asriel looks worried, and he's just like, oh God, what should
Because
I
he's like,
do?
should we send for Farah? And he's like, no.
No, like, stay away from here. And she was like, and like, yeah, Asriel's like, that was Nesta's true power, that silver flame. And yeah, they're all just like, oh my
No, but
God.
Reese says on the surface.
On
So
the
that's not even
surface.
it. And then
Yeah,
he's just like, fuck. Like this. And Cassian's just like, he says, when Reese says, I went into her nightmare. Why didn't you tell me you attempted scrying today? And then he's just like,
yeah,
because it didn't work.
yeah,
And then the scrying was a tripwire for her memories. I caught that as I went in. And she's dreaming about the cauldron when she went in.
uh,
I saw it, I felt it, everything that happened within the cauldron, and I
yeah,
saw her take its power with her teeth and her claws and her rage, and I felt what it took from her.
yeah. Her
And it's the
trauma
first
is
time her trauma
realized.
is, and he doesn't
Yeah,
know. Reese just didn't clock it. He just was like, oh no, this is being a bitch. And it's like he almost needed to really feel it to go, yeah.
yeah, that was like really bad power. And he's just like, yeah, it ends this chapter with like, Asriel saying, what is her power? And Reese goes, death, pure death.
Death.
And you're like,
So she's almost like a death god, right? That's
yeah, she's a
essentially
death
what
god,
she
I
is.
think. She
So
can't
the
be killed.
question the question
Yeah,
is, can she be killed? Maybe she can. Maybe things have tried to kill her, and if they had gone, she would just wake up and be like, I'm fine. Like, I don't know. So this is going to be interesting. So you know that when it comes to this whole Koschei and Briallen situation, she's going to be able to be like, because the bone carver in the previous book would go, Nesta, you can hear it on the wind, can't you? And she's
yeah.
there, and you just think, hmm. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty intense chapter to stop on, like the whole flaming, like craziness, and then Reese freaking out, and then
Yeah,
pure death. We established that that is her magic. She is just death. She's death
yeah.
incarnate. Good luck,
You're right
everyone.
there. Yeah. And she's just keeping it on the lowdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like she's scared of it. She is frightened of it, but she needs it will eventually become clear through the training, through other things, probably through Emery, Gwen, friends that she makes, that she'll go, you need to utilize it. You need to make the power work for you. Like calls to like.
Like, great. Yeah. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this bit. Like, I thought it was a good book. Like, it was spicy as hell, but
Oh
like,
my
there was some
gosh.
good bits. And I quite
Hello.
liked seeing like Nesta's journey and Cassian standing up for her. Like, he's fighting. Like, she can't, basically, when Nesta tries to fight for herself, she's just like really bitchy, and it just comes off like being like really like, whatever, I don't care. Where Cassian's just like, no, stop doing that. This is where it's coming from. You need to leave her alone. And they're like, oh yeah, yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah. It's like Cassian needs to be a bloody therapist for them. Like, seriously. He's much more switched on than they are, completely.
True.
It's,
Therapy with Cassian.
yeah, he'd be like, maybe you should not do that because that's a trigger. And you're just like, wow, he's so intelligent. He's so emotionally intelligent. It's hot.
Not
It's
a
so hot.
stupid brute.
Oh, no, he's not a stupid brute. And that's the thing. And what I think this so far is, it's so good. Because, right, so there can be smut in a romantasy book, but the smut has to be like, there's a purpose to the smut. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is serving that. So you are getting different pieces of the journey, like you say. That is an element of it. And then there's this, it's balanced. And it is really balanced in comparison to the last book, which I just really didn't like. It is
No.
nowhere close to how good this is. And we're only at chapter 30. So that's,
Yeah.
for those that are watching this,
We're
that's
not
me
even
splitting the
halfway
book.
yet, I don't think. So yeah,
You
it's like
know, we're almost
almost.
halfway, but not quite. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoying it. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it too. This is like a lot better than I think. It was funny because people are saying that, oh no, like it's a Court of like War and Ruin is far, and I was like, no, this is by
No,
far a lot better.
100% agree. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, yes, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode of us discussing these
Yeah.
chapters of Silver Flames. What are the chapters that we're going to read next week?
Yeah, so we're reading part 4 is chapter 30 to
Mm,
41. Do not read 42.
got
Up
it.
to 41.
To 41. Oh, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will be back next Tuesday, same place, same time, discussing those chapters. So please follow us as you read along or reread along. If you'd like to join us on the Fable Book Club, that is in the links in the
Yeah.
bio of TikTok and Instagram at Literary Labyrinth Podcast. So yes, we better get stuck in reading, but yes, loving Cassian right now. He's so hot. He's so
Yay!
beautiful.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll find out where this mask is or the other one. I don't know. So yeah,
Correct.
we'll find out.
Yes. The mass, the dread trove, yeah. All right. Well, in
Yeah.
the meantime, have a great day and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.